voted for the Patriot Act because it had a good name to it. And I thought, well, that's not much of a reason. Did you read it? No, we didn't have time to read it. So but they voted for it anyway. But I always thought that if they would have called it, they always make a bill sound better. It's always almost the opposite of what they do. So I said, just think if they would have named that Repeal the Fourth Amendment Act, how many people would have voted for it then? And that's essentially what the Patriot Act does. It really removes your privacy. Your privacy is being attacked all the time. The purpose of government was to protect your privacy and to make sure that government was small and open, that we knew what the government was doing. Now we're moving in the opposite direction. The government is getting more and more secrets kept, and the people have less and less privacy. Now there's a systematic attack on our internet. They want to know everything and have controls, and there are bills being prepared in the Congress now to make sure that they know exactly what's happening on the internet. Now, one of the reasons why that is so dangerous is that in the Defense Authorization Act that was just passed has some changes in that are very, very dangerous. I don't know if you've heard any about this or not, but they have put into that bill, over the strong objection of a few of us in Washington, that says that if you're involved in associated forces, that is the word, it's just being associated with a force that they consider, unworthy of protection, and you might be a potential terrorist or you're a different group. But this would mean if they could do that, an American citizen could be arrested by the military and denied a trial, and put in a prison indefinitely, and even sent to a secret prison out of our country. That is now the law of the land, on top of the fact that the president announced a year ago that he can assassinate American citizens without charges made. Yes, it hasn't been true, it hasn't been used a lot yet, but it's been used a little bit, and they're moving in that direction. And if they undermine totally the internet, that means you could touch a website. And even today with the Patriot Act, they can search that out, and they might say, oh, you looked at this website, and whenever you happen to think that you don't like these wars and you touch onto a website that talked about anti-war, they might say, well, you're an accomplice, and you might be charged, or you might be arrested but not charged. So that is an attack on personal liberties, and that has ominous ramifications. It not only undermines your personal liberty, but you can't have markets, you can't have free markets without liberty. If you understand liberty, you really protect personal liberty, the way you want to run your life, your religious life, your intellectual life, or your personal habits. That it should be the same as your economic life. If you understand that life and liberty comes from our Creator, government does not provide that, they're supposed to protect it. But if liberty comes from our Creator, and we have our right to our life and liberty, we ought to have the right to the fruits of our labor, the things that we produce. You ought to own what you earn, own it, what you earn, and not have the government tell you which part you can keep and what you can do with it. In spite of the tremendous crisis we face, economically our personal liberties are under attack, as well as a foreign policy that is out of control, and we have assumed a role that it was never meant to be, and from my viewpoint, is backfiring on us, and we're less safe for it. Those issues have to be addressed, and they have to be changed. If we did it, I really believe we could get back on our feet again in a short period of time. If we continue to do what we're doing, not deal with the deficit, not deal with the monetary policy, not deal with the foreign policy, and continue to just print money and pretend that we can take care of people, this is going to end badly. It's going to end badly with a lot more inflation, a lot more disruption on the streets, and now they're talking about arresting American citizens by the military and martial law, repealing posse comitatus, that the military was prohibited from doing these kind of things. I mean, it could be very bad for us. But on the positive side of this, something has happened in the last few years. Something has happened. Matter of fact, it continues to happen. It seems to be accelerating. People are waking up. They're concerned. And they're not buying into this. They're not buying it. The government's going to take care of me. I want this from the government, because they know right now the government is broke and the government is us, and they just can't have those false promises. But I'm optimistic because I meet so many people like you around the state, around the country, and there's a lot of enthusiasm and a healthy disregard for expectations from our government. That is what first has to come, to realize the government can't fulfill these promises, therefore it's up to us to take care of ourselves. We can't depend on the government. And that is what freedom is all about. Self-reliance, self-responsibility, assuming responsibility for all our acts, but that has to be combined with you being able to live in a free society where you can actually have a chance to work and get ahead. But the other thing, many people that have been around the country have thought about these things for years and years. They may have become complacent, they may not have been politically active, and they have never been encouraged enough to think much good would come of being a participant. Now I think that they're realizing that something has to be done, and that this concrete explanation of a free market and what freedom is about and the American traditions, they're waking up and they're getting excited about that. But not only is that group that seems to be energized and have been around for a while, also we have a group of young people in this country. And this gives me tremendous encouragement. Go to the universities and even in high schools, and they're starting to talk and understand and really understanding the burden that they're inheriting. They can't just say, oh, I'm going to have a job. When I was graduating from high school and college, most of us just thought, well, there'll be a job, and the government's going to give us Social Security, and no worries. But young people are much aware of this. I think the internet has helped, and I think the fact that the government and our process is extended to the stage where its failure is pretty evident, that young people aren't being energized. And instead of the young people that I talk to being despondent, they get pretty excited about it because they hear there's an alternative and we don't have to invent anything. We have to just think about what has made America great in the past. It was our free society. We had the freest society and the most prosperous society. We had the largest middle class in the world ever. And now the middle class is shrinking, and our wealth is being consumed. But when people see this, and young people realize that there is an answer, we're so much better off. Although we face a similar crisis as the Soviet system did with the collapse of their economic system when they extended themselves too far. In our case, we don't have to invent anything brand new. We can refine it and improve on it and move forward, but we don't have to reinvent the Constitution. We have to just reinvent individuals that we will be willing to take the oath of office seriously and follow through and do what they're supposed to do. That's what we realize.